I'm late to my own podcast because I am very professional. Andrew isn't here this week, so I got Arkanizer Everest. What's up?
Hey, how's everyone doing? I am here to talk about Wonder Woman because Braden's friend is not important, so he got me instead.
Yeah, he'll appreciate that very much.
I love you, Andrew. I don't even know who you are. I just listen to you sometimes, but
Just listens to your voice.
yeah.
Also got Infotex or Darren.
It's wonderful to be here, everyone. Get it? Because wonder... Okay, I'll stop.
Yeah, welcome to That's So Random, because we get off topic all the time. That's why we called it this.
Bro, that's my specialty right there. Let's go.
But yeah, we're talking about Wonder Woman 1984 today. It's been almost a week since it's been out, so we can get into some spoilers in a moment. Anyway, what do you guys think of it overall? Like, did you enjoy it or not?
I guess I'll go first. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was like a good film. I didn't think it was a great film. It is worse than the original Wonder Woman to me, but I still had a ton of fun with it, and I think there's some great aspects in that film. I definitely think it has some issues, which I'm sure we will get into later, but overall, I thought it was good, not great.
Yeah, I think I agree with you for the most part. I thought this was a very middle of the road superhero movie. There were some great things, and then there were some things that you could definitely improve on. So I thought it was just like overall like just okay, but still pretty fun overall.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Everest. I don't know if you agree with this or not, Everest, but I thought it was more balanced than the first Wonder Woman, because the first Wonder Woman, the third act is worse than the rest of the movie by a pretty significant margin, but the first one's better overall.
There was no long section of the movie that I thought was weaker or better than the rest of it.
Yeah, there were definitely like no standout moments like the No Man Land scene or anything like that though in 84.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we can start from the beginning. The first 20 minutes of this movie is probably what I enjoyed the most, honestly. I think it was the most well put together, like, had the least issues. And I just like that 80s vibe. What do you guys think of the first 20 minutes or so?
I'll let Everest go first, because I think my opinions are different.
I really enjoyed the first 20 minutes. I thought the opening on Themyscira was great, keeping with the first Wonder Woman's opening. I thought it was interesting how they set the message in the movie up at the beginning. Sometimes that works really well, sometimes it doesn't. I thought it did its job here. And it reminded me a little bit of American Ninja Warrior at times, which I'm all about. So let's go. Yeah, and then the mall scene in the 80s. I thought it was just fun. Like, did it need to be there? I don't know. I thought it was just a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Robin Wright in that Themyscira scene, she honestly kind of pissed me off because she basically was just like, Diana, cheaters don't win, and I'm just like, in real life, yes they do. Robin Wright, let her win.
Yeah. I liked that, though, to be honest. That really made sense to me.
Dude, it just annoyed me. I'm like, I know they're warriors and stuff, but she just crushed that kid's dream.
Do you guys think that plot point or that section needed to be there, though? Because that's been a debate I've heard a lot about, was that they could have easily cut that part out. And I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like they probably could have, but I liked it at the same time. Like, I think... Go ahead.
I agree with that. I don't think it needs to be there, but I enjoyed it. It was literally only there to bring that back in the end, and I mean, they could have introduced that at any point in the story that made more sense, or like... Okay, it was only there to do that, like bring it back around, because I guess they thought they were being wise by doing that or something, and introduce her new armor that they advertised the hell out of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Part of me wonders if they still had like contracts from like the first movie that like certain actors would at least appear in the movie at some point. So like, hey, let's just throw this backflash scene in here, set up the movie. Maybe not. I'm just like spitballing.
Hey, all I know, I got to see some Amazonians running on these like obstacles and flipping around and swimming and shooting bows and arrows, and it was cool. Okay, I liked it.
I always wonder, like, how do the horses get there, or are they, like, molded from clay like Diana was? Because, like, there's no men there, but they got horses? Like, huh?
That is very, very interesting. I actually don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something that always throws me off for some reason. But I love the mall scene. I just love... I like 80s movies a lot. Like, when I watch them, I just have a fun time.
Mm-hmm.
If they're good or not, like, well put together, how I think a film should be.
Yeah.
Really. I don't know, that vibe I dig. So, Darren, what do you think of the mall scene?
Yeah, no, I would agree that.
I like the mall scene quite a bit. I don't think I wasn't a huge fan of the first half in general. Like, I actually think that was my least favorite segment of the movie. But I think the mall scene itself was good. I just think the tone throughout this entire movie was very weird. Like, we have some segments that are super fun and goofy, in which I'm fine with that, but then the next moment we have curses going on, we have people dying, and I don't know, I wasn't a fan of the tone just going up and down the whole time. Like, that's just my personal opinion. I'd rather a movie be either super, like, lighthearted all the way through, or maybe, like, super dark all the way through, than, like, them really not knowing what tone they wanted from it. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm pulling something out of my butt, but there's something about like the whole beginning of the movie that just felt really off to me.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is just me, I think we kind of take like these more serious superhero movies like for granted nowadays. And I don't really think the tone, even though I mean the entire world was at stake, was supposed to be super serious, because I mean it's kind of a silly concept.
Yeah, the concept is so dumb. Like, we can get into it more later. That's my biggest issue with the film. Is I don't like the villain concept, but
yeah,
issue with the tone.
That's fair. I don't know. There's just something about I think the tone, especially within the mall scene. The first movie, it was fun, but it was also kind of I don't want to say dark, but it was a very serious movie. So going in here and seeing Wonder Woman just like fly kids around and like kick a teddy bear, again, that's fine. I just don't think I was ready for that tone switch.
I think that fits her character though, Wonder Woman's character.
I just don't think I like the way it was done. Like, I think it could have been done a little bit better. That's just me.
Yeah, and I don't think.
Go ahead.
Well, it was a new movie, so like when you shift tones from a movie to a movie, it's different to me, especially when those movies are 40 years apart, or 40 plus, like 80 years apart. World War I, 19.
Yeah, like 75, I think.
Almost, yeah. When they're that far apart, of course, she's progressed as a character. The 80s is gonna, an 80s mall is gonna have a different tone than World War I, obviously. Just that is
100%. Yeah, I mean, there's no debate with that.
And I would like to point out, I think like some of that was just playing to those strengths, because she's getting better. I still don't think she's an amazing actress, but what she has is that just exuding warmth and very
carefree,
friendly kind of appeal, and they really went for that in this movie, and I think it helped her.
Yeah, and I don't think there were any like major tonal shifts throughout the film itself, though. So like the tone didn't bother me at all. And yeah, Gal, she's not the best actor, but she just fits as Wonder Woman because of the way they write her, and just like you said, what she oozes. So do you guys want to Do you guys want to just go ahead and move on to Steve Trevor, because I know this is a big problem some people have.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Do you guys hold on, do you guys like Steve Trevor, as a character? Are you guys a fan of him?
I do. I like...
Do you?
I mean, I liked him before Wonder Woman even, but Chris Pine made me love him.
I love Chris Pine, and I thought having, I think some of the semantics are very, very iffy with it, but overall, I mean, to get Chris Pine back, I would say it was kind of worth it, because I think some of those scenes actually are quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
as Brayden.
Yeah, it makes no sense that he came back in another person's body. Like, why would he not just come back in his own body when all this other ridiculous stuff is happening? But I was still happy we got to see Chris Pine, because I think he's a great actor.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and I understand why they brought him back for this movie. But I don't know if it really, I don't think it really mattered. I don't think anything was really affected with him coming back. Not for... Diana's character, not for him as a character. I don't really feel any of those characters really grew, with this experience. And it really doesn't affect the plot either. It doesn't, the plot doesn't... You take Steve out of the plot, out of, a few minor details, it doesn't change a lot, besides it affecting Diana as a character. You kind of needed this push for her to want to stop this, or, to move forward with this plot. But
Diana to want to put a stop to the plot.
Yeah.
Of the movie.
But I think that could have been done better. I don't know.
I agree it could have been done better, but I think it also could have been done worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you just look at it, in context of the film and just the greater overall universe as well, because this is connected to a universe, obviously. It grows Diana's character when you think about it, because she had to give up Steve again for a second time. Well, she didn't give him up the first time; he sacrificed himself. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna kind of skip through here just a bit, so please forgive me. But I didn't feel any emotional attachment when we got him back. There wasn't any emotional drama towards there, because oh yeah, he's dead by the time we get to Justice League. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I thought the scene when Diana has to let him go was actually quite powerful, and I thought that it was a good development for her character, because it's gonna serve her in her journeys into the future. And so I don't think the stakes here that they were going for was necessarily with Steve. I think it lied more with Diana. And so in that sense, I got the emotion out of it, but I can understand where you're coming from as well. I don't know. There's interesting ways of looking at that. So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I felt emotion or anything when he showed back up. I was just like, hell yeah, Chris Pine's back, and it's I don't know.
Yeah, no.
It's gonna be sad that he's probably not in the third one, because it's not gonna make sense to bring him back again unless there's a flashback or something.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
Or who knows, who knows, Flashpoint. Yeah, Flashpoint you could bring over a different...
That is true. That is true. We need a new Batman. Just kidding.
Hey, Darren, if you want to feel emotional attachment with Steve Trevor, well, you can watch the ending of the first Wonder Woman, obviously. But you can also watch this episode of Justice League called The Savage Time. Do you remember that episode, Everest? Where they're in the alternate timeline. Yeah, dude, the Steve Trevor stuff is so good in that episode.
Yeah.
The end of that episode, it legitimately makes me cry. It's one of the few things that brings me to tears, and I don't know why.
A multiple episode one, right? Or
yeah, it's a 3-parter.
I think that. Yeah, that's 3-parter. Okay.
It's yeah.
No, I love that arc.
Yeah, it's so great. Vandal Savage is basically Hitler. Well, he replaced Hitler. Remember they had him frozen? Oh my god. Okay, we'll talk about Justice League another time. Are we done with Steve, or you got anything to add?
Yeah. No, I have I have a few more. I have a few more words for sure.
Okay.
Of course, we have the whole like body swapping thing, which in general I thought again was super weird. But like the fact that like Diana didn't seem to even like care that this random person is in like her boyfriend is in this random person's body. She didn't care that he was putting himself in danger. He didn't care that I think she had sex with him. This like random guy. Like this guy probably had a wife and kids, and like that would be an interesting plot point for sure. But she doesn't seem to even care. They don't even mention it. Like not really. So I thought that was pretty, like, it was a very weird on like Diana's character, like that. I don't know, it just didn't seem like her.
Okay, so the ending, it's that same guy, right? But he's himself.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, the ending, it was set at Christmas time, and I was like, oh, this is convenient because they finally released it on Christmas.
Right. It's a Christmas movie, everyone.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie officially now. But like that dude. It felt like he was flirting with Diana, so I don't think he had a wife or kids.
Yeah. Well, still, I mean, we don't know that. Like, yeah, I know that for sure. But even then, she didn't know that when putting him in danger and having sex with the guy. Like, that's still, like, unconventional, like, sex. I don't know. That just kind of, like, took me out of the movie.
Okay,
like,
but...
personally.
I'm just saying,
I think they should have
If I was in love with a girl and she died and I went 75 years without her and then she came back in another attractive chick's body, I wouldn't be that messed up about it because everything except the look is her.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, she loved Steve Trevor with literally everything to the point where her one wish in that film was to bring him back.
It's been 75 years and she still hasn't gotten over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing, it's not about Diana. It's about this random guy who's not even conscious through this entire experience. That's what bothers me. Like, if there was more of this, like, pressure on her being like, oh man, like, we need to get this guy safe, and this tie between the two. Like, I love Trevor, but there's also this innocent guy in my boyfriend's body. What do I do about that? And they never really do that. Like, I think they mentioned it like once and then kind of like move like over it.
But once she finds out that it can all
about how.
Sorry, go ahead, Iris.
I just wasn't sure, like, watching it, like, how the actual, like, physics and everything was working. So I wasn't sure if, like, I don't know if he was, like, by Steve being in his body, he was taking that person out of his life.
Yeah, that was definitely very confusing. That was, like,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
like, if it was just, like, a cold body, I'd be like, okay, that's fine, but, like, we find out, like, at the end that it's a real person with a real life. I don't know, like, it just bothered me, personally.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like the pressure should have been more on Steve than Diana, because he was the one taking this dude's life, like, taking his body over. Like, this dude, he obviously had to have a job, so what's his job like now? Is he just fired now? Is he not making income? Is he just gonna live off Diana? But especially once Diana figures out this can all be reversed, I, like, get why she doesn't really consider that, because if you're in love is a powerful thing, and it's
true.
You're not really thinking about anything else.
It's just something that I just think like the first Wonder Woman, like from the first movie, like she would have thought about that kind of thing. I get it. She missed Steve, and she probably didn't even. She probably didn't even know, like, oh, this is a real person's body. I don't know. I don't know, it's just off to me. It was also weird, like, they were acting like this person didn't exist, which was also weird. Like, she was talking about how he doesn't have, like, a, like, a like passport, but like this guy probably did. Like it's not like Steve just like walked into like he just like shapeshifted or something. Like this was supposedly a person that already existed, which was weird.
Well, you find out it was a person that existed at the end.
Yeah. So like he should have a passport.
There's
What?
a lot of people who don't have passports.
I mean, but like Diana wouldn't know that though.
Yeah, but you were saying the first one she would have like known better or whatever. I don't think she would have, because the whole reason she like begins to understand humans, humanity, how we work is because of Steve.
I mean, I guess.
Because she has like no hope in them until the very end, pretty much. Because she's
Yeah,
like,
she's like, damn, bro, these people,
Yeah.
they're stupid. Like, why am I fighting to protect them? And then
Yeah.
he sees Steve sacrifice, and she's like, damn.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Ares is talking all that trash, and he's like, they're sinners and stuff. They deserve to die. And Diana's like, they're all of that, but there's so much more. And then she kicks Ares' ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys want to move on to Maxwell Lord? I thought he was probably the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, hands down.
I loved Maxwell, dude.
Uh-huh.
He was a bit over the top
Okay,
at times, but I mean, I was fine with that. I don't know. I feel like some of the campiness or over the topness that's in this just fits because it is an 80s movie and they can get away with it because of that.
100%. Yeah. And I think, like, I even think I think he fit the film very, very well. Could he have been done better? Maybe. But I think I would 100% agree with you that like the silliness and like the campiness, even if the plot again was very silly, but it kind of fit the tone.
Yeah. You know, Brayden, if you really like Maxwell Lord, the actor who plays him is in a show that's pretty cool called The Mandalorian.
Dude, I actually need to try to watch The Mandalorian because I heard a lot of people that aren't that into Star Wars love it. So, and I mean, it looks cool. It's about a bounty hunter.
Yeah. I think you might like it, but yeah, isn't like your main we're gonna get off track for like a second, but isn't your main problem with like that you haven't gotten into Star Wars is just because it's like boring, like the first one is like uninteresting or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't get into it. Like, I'm not. I can't get into.
I think The Mandalorian is very different, so you might like it. But anyways, I loved Maxwell Lord as a character. I thought the logistics of his plan at the end were very questionable. But as far as Pedro Pascal's performance and the character itself, I thought he was awesome. Like, from the moment he steps onto the screen, you know he knows who he is, and he's going to be a player in the movie.
So, I watched Chris Stuckman's review of this movie, and he brought up a very interesting point, but I think it actually works for this movie opposed to what he compared it to. He says the villains in this movie are so similar to, like, Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Riddler from Batman Forever, like Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin, like all these bad movies. And I'm like, yeah, but it worked for me in this, just because I don't think it was like as over the top as those were, or as, I don't know what the word is, but as bad. I thought it just worked for the movie, what the movie was. And what the movie was trying to be.
I never thought
it
got to the point where it takes you out of the movie, because the movie has that kind of level of campiness with it as well.
Yeah. And even just his character, like Maxwell's character in general, just I think just fits this world. Like, he's often, or at least in a lot of the adaptations I've seen, like Maxwell's usually or often a more like serious, like grounded character. So to kind of see him in this like environment was really fun. And I can't think of like a better actor to play him either. Like,
No, I thought Pedro killed it.
Yeah, oh, he absolutely did. Do you think that, like... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, yeah, his motivation, like, makes sense to me. He wants to be successful. That gets out of hand because you see that build over time too. It's not like he just starts out as like, I'm gonna take over the world.
Right. I really like that.
Yeah, no,
that was
I don't have a problem with his motivation at all. I think it works very well.
Uh-huh.
And
often with
like what it gets to at the end kind of doesn't make sense. But I thought him, like, everything directly related to his character works in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, in like a lot of 80 movies and like in the 90s, you'll see these villains who like, they want to take over the world, or they want to rule Earth. But like, why? Like why does your character want to do this? And I think they did a very good job setting up. Yeah, he just wants to make his son proud. He wants to be something. And I really enjoyed that. I'm like, okay, yeah, thank you for actually giving him some substance. And then Cheetah was very, very similar. I like, they kind of, and I don't know if you guys, we can save that for later if you guys want, but
yeah, we can get that in a minute. But I just want to say the stuff with Maxwell's kid, it really added his character for me because like he's basically ignoring his kid this whole time, and like the scene where he yells when the dude tells him that it's his weekend, or he yells before that, he's like, how many weekends am I gonna get? And that upsets the kid, obviously, and he's like, he's heartbroken after that. He's like so obsessed with making his son proud that he doesn't even spend time with him because he doesn't want to be looked at as a loser or anything like that in his son's eyes.
Yeah. But then I think it's powerful when like he kind of realizes to make his son proud, he has to do the opposite of what he thinks he has to do. Because there are a lot of instances where like, people just go so above and beyond for doing something where really it's just the simple stuff that counts. And so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, in the end, Alistair's just like, you don't have to make me proud, you're my dad, I love you.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just worked for me, I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about Cheetah now?
Yeah, sure. Kristen Wiig.
I think she was good, like her performance was good, I enjoyed it, and I didn't really care for Cheetah herself, but I liked her as Barbara Minerva.
Yeah. I legit think she's very similar to Poison Ivy and Batman and Robin, just less bad.
She is very similar to those, like even like Riddler or Electro, because she's nerdy, and she gets this weird artifact to study. Then she wishes that it's kind of really similar to Electro's thing, where he's a nerd and then he becomes Electro for some reason. But Kristen Wiig just makes it work. Like her performance is good. She's more compelling than those villains just because she has more substance.
I don't think I loved her character in the first half. Like she was good. I just really wasn't digging it. I don't think, but like through like the middle section, like when she's super strong and she's like finding these like abilities, I really found that character like really intriguing. I kind of got to see how that perspective changes through her eyes. I actually think it's like a perspective that we haven't seen very much, like that transition into being, this good character from going into bad, and we really get to see this like middle margarine where it's like, oh man, I like being good and I like doing this stuff, but man, I really want to accomplish this goal, and we kind of get to see like that journey kind of unfold. And I absolutely love the scene like with her and Wonder Woman where she just absolutely destroys her, and we can really kind of see like some of her passions start to like unravel. And then towards the end, I thought her final fight was like just okay, but I don't know. I really like that like middle point for her character.
I like the White House fight a lot.
Yeah.
With her, and I think her final fight's good. It just should have been longer.
Yeah,
it meant more.
But yeah.
I just overall, this is my overall con with Cheetah, and I do think there's a lot of good. She just should have meant more.
Yeah.
Cheetah, when I think of Wonder Woman villains, Cheetah is always the first that I go to.
Number one.
Yeah, Cheetah and Ares are always the first two.
Every single time. Without fail. And so I think she should have meant more in this film. Like, it's not like in a Batman movie, Joker is going to be the villain that Batman fights to get to fighting Mr. Freeze.
Right.
And so that was a little weird, but I thought the fight itself was good. I think that a lot of the stuff in this movie looks quite cool. Like when Steve and Diana are like flying over the fireworks and everything. I thought that's
just great.
Pretty awesome and looked great. But I just think the fight with Cheetah was like, what are we really fighting for right now?
Yeah, I kind of wish. I like her. I like her motivations a lot. Like, she has this whole thing where like she doesn't want to be normal and people don't like her very much. I wish they would have maybe given her a little bit more, or at least explored that a little bit, because like, yeah, she gets pushed around a little bit, but like her life doesn't seem that bad. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I wish they would have maybe gave her this little push to actually make her want to change before they actually did it. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Like, what do you mean change? Like, make the initial wish, or like change into Cheetah?
Yeah, to like make that initial wish, because like she makes the wish that she wants to look like Diana, be like Diana. But like I don't know if they distributed that her life sucked that bad to begin with to make that wish. Like I don't know. That's just me. Like I wish they would have done just a little bit more in the first half, or like in the first act, to prove that like, oh, maybe her life actually kind of sucks a little bit.
Well, we have the scene where she's like getting sexually harassed by the dude.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
In the park.
That is true.
Yeah, and when she's like, Diana, have you ever been in love? And she's like, yeah, and have you? And she's like, all the time. And the guys were ignoring her at the beginning, and she said one about
I don't know
never having friends in school and stuff. It's all a mindset thing.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't matter if your life is actually that bad or not. If you think it is, it is.
Yeah. But I don't think they distributed that, though. Like, I don't think they really showed. Like, yeah, that could be a thing. But, like, besides the sexual harassment thing, which is a huge thing, so don't I'm not undermining that in the least. But I would have liked to see a little bit more to like, convince me that, like, oh, this character... this character isn't happy.
I
thought it was evident that she wasn't happy, but that's just me.
I thought, and it's not even like, it's not always it. Well, obviously it's part of it, but the whole picture doesn't have to be like just not being happy. It can just be wanting more, and she saw that stone as a way to give her more. She
yeah. I mean, like, I don't have a problem with it.
She wasn't like wanting the stone for like evil power. She just wanted to feel more powerful.
Well, she didn't even know what Diana was. She just wished to be like Diana. She didn't realize that was going to give her a bunch of powers and stuff.
I know, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. I never got the sense that she was unhappy with her life to begin with. I think that's it. That's it for me.
Well, she's being ignored by everyone at work, so like, of course she is.
Yeah.
And okay, it was so stupid when her employer or whatever was like, "Is there a Barbara Minerva?" And she's like, "Yeah, you hired me last week. What do you mean?" I'm like, "You're an employer. You're not gonna forget who you hired. You're not. That just doesn't happen."
Yeah. Especially a week ago, like you had a whole interview and looked at her resume and headshots and. Like, yeah.
And she's got a doctor. She's a freaking doctor. She's obviously accomplished. So, yeah. That was a good point, though, Everest, that Cheetah is her number one villain. Like, could you imagine... Like, Joker would never be a secondary villain in a Batman trilogy. Maybe in one Batman movie, but is he going to be the main villain in the next? If that were to happen.
Yeah.
Green Goblin's never going to just be a secondary villain in a Spider-Man trilogy. Maybe secondary to, like, Doc Ock, who's on level with them, but, like, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, no. So that was my main issue with Cheetah, but overall, I like the character.
Yeah, I enjoyed her character quite a bit. The Wonder Woman Cheetah fight was pretty underwhelming. CGI was spotty. It could have been better.
Yeah, that's fair. I definitely preferred the White House fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Steve and Diana versus Barbara and I guess Maxwell. Steve and Maxwell, when they're handcuffed together, that was just hilarious to me for some reason. Steve's like, I got you handcuffed, and Maxwell like hits him, and he's like, oh.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I really loved the scene where it was the invisible jet scene, but I loved it because Steve finally got to fly again after 70 plus years. And like you could just see the pure joy on his face. He's like, oh, I missed this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie, to be honest.
For sure. Like, I mean, and it's relatable too. Like, if you've ever had to take a break from doing something you love, and then you get to do that again, like, no, restraints. It's like, yes, I missed this. So, it was a pretty awesome scene.
Yeah, it was great, and we get the invisible jet, which is obviously iconic with Wonder Woman. I didn't know how I felt about how she made it invisible. She was like, "Oh yeah, I've been practicing this thing like my grandfather did. I've only done it once."
Is that
and it was a coffee cup.
Yeah, I found that kind of weird. I was like, "Oh, okay."
It's cool that we got the invisible jet, though.
Yeah, that was a reference.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just like you've seen the videos or the stories, of like moms lifting cars when their babies are under. Like adrenaline just makes you perform better.
Yes,
a lot of the time.
Yeah, true, but I don't know.
There's a lot of things that
kind of would have been
humanly possible. Like you can lift like probably tons if you had to, but most of the time you don't need to.
Yeah. I kind of wish they would have set that up earlier, though. Like, I don't know, like, it would have been nice if they, 30 minutes prior, they just, had her trying to do it or something.
I don't know, to me that's just not needed.
Yeah, I don't even think it was needed to set up the armor earlier in the film. Like, they set that armor up, they discuss it when Steve finds it, and, she uses it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did they promote it so much?
The wings look so cool, and then 2 minutes in, they're like, okay, the CGI on these wings is too expensive, man. We gotta get rid of these.
Yeah. I mean, that's all merchandise, though. That's 100% merchandising 100% and marketing.
Toys.
Marketing, too.
Toys.
Because she's in that suit in, every trailer. Every trailer and every poster, she's in that suit. Which, I mean, I get it. It looks cool. But...
Hey yo, how about Diana riding that lightning though?
I thought that was gonna be actually a part of an action set piece and not just her learning how to when she learns how to fly.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed. Not gonna lie.
I was like, man, she's just riding lightning. Yeah, she was using that lasso like she was Spider-Man the whole movie. I was like, I didn't even know this was a
that
thing
is true.
with Wonder Woman.
I know. I thought it was just wrapping people up and making them tell the truth, and then here she is, grappling hook lasso.
Yeah, grappling lightning. That's pretty cool. I bet Spider-Man's web can't do that.
Yeah.
I think he'd. Well, I don't know. I think the web would protect him from getting electrocuted, but it would not sustain the lightning. So I don't know. I agree that it would have been cooler if she had to do it in a fight, but I still think that, the direction and everything on that flying sequence, the first one especially, was pretty awesome.
That got, a lot of hate, though, right? The whole, flying sequence?
She can't fly in the comics.
I don't know why it gets so much hate. Wonder Woman, always flies, pretty much.
Are people dumb?
That's
I don't understand.
It's classic Wonder Woman. Flying? Come on.
Yeah, I was like, okay, whatever. You do you, I guess.
I was glad she finally could fly. I was like, we went 3 movies without her flying. I'm like, man, why can't Wonder Woman fly? Superman's flying and stuff.
4, right?
Exactly.
Isn't it 4?
I don't
Because
know.
this
Yeah,
was their
sure.
fourth movie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
BVS,
Batman v
Justice League,
Superman,
and
Wonder Woman,
yeah.
Justice League.
That's
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
To be fair,
Yeah.
Brayden did say like he said like.
Yeah,
both
I mean, I was just...
Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
meant before this movie, so I was correct.
True, yeah, true. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But no, I thought the flying sequence was pretty cool, and honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to Patty Jenkins doing a Superman movie now if she wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
the scene in Man of Steel where Superman learns to fly is way better, though. I love that scene. The music adds to that scene, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's so good.
Like,
Yeah.
she obviously knew how to fly before that moment, though, right?
She
Like,
never
that
did.
was his first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I assume that was... Oh, well, I guess.
No, because remember, she's
I don't know.
thinking back to what Steve said, like, you just, like, ride the wind or whatever.
Yeah, she's like learning how to do it.
Yeah, I guess.
She's listening back to what Steve said.
I guess.
She could maybe
took
fly,
the
but she
pilot
couldn't,
in
like,
her life
control her
coming
flight.
back.
Or no, she didn't. I don't know. She, like, super jumped into the clouds or something like that, didn't she? And then she was like, I'm just gonna ride the clouds because I'm sad.
Yeah.
I was like, that'd be nice to do every time I was sad.
I know. Instead of driving and potentially dying, you just ride the clouds.
Okay, so I think really the only big thing we haven't touched on yet is the chase sequence, which I thoroughly enjoyed, to be honest. I really enjoyed that scene with Steve and Diana going after Maxwell. I don't know.
With the trailer shot of...
Yes.
With
Yeah.
Wonder Woman just flipping over like 18 cars and...
Yeah, and it's also the scene where you discover that Wonder Woman is starting to lose her powers because, like, her lasso gives out when she's about to save some kids. I was like, what the heck just happened when that happened? I wasn't expecting her just to lose powers.
I'm not actually sure. It did catch me by surprise. I didn't catch on to, like, her losing her powers there at first, so I just, like, thought for whatever reason, like, what the lasso was holding on to, it just, like, stopped giving traction or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was weird. I'm like, oh, I thought she couldn't bleed. I guess she does. Oh, well. Like, yeah, I don't know.
That's when I was starting to notice, too. I was like, what's happening? Like, the bullets are actually piercing her skin? What?
I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
I mean, whatever.
Have they ever shown that she's bulletproof? She blocks the bullets.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think... I don't know.
Her fisticuffs and...
Yeah.
You know...
Yeah, because in the comics she is, though, right? Like, she's bulletproof in the comics for sure.
I'm pretty sure she's in.
So, like, yeah, that wasn't... Yeah, so, like, going into this, I'm like, oh, they just changed some things for this. I'm fine with that, just... They could have explained it. But, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, I guess.
I just love the Steve action scenes. Like, I love him just getting involved every now and then. Like, he's just watching Diana kick ass, and he's like, oh, gotta help her. Just goes and beats up one or two dudes.
I helped you, Diana.
He did save her from being crushed by those two trucks.
That is true.
That is true.
Steve's awesome.
I did actually, like, I thought, but, like, leading up to her lasso, like, giving out and everything, I thought the thing with, like, the missile, the combo attack with, like, the missile to lasso, I thought that was awesome.
Oh, yes, that
was
awesome.
Chase sequence, where Steve shoots the missile and then she, like, lassos onto it, and, like, I thought it was sick.
That was cool. I was like, because he shot the rocket, and I'm like, what? Are they about to murder them? And then she lassos onto it, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome! The lasso got a lot of love in this movie.
That is true. And then she saves the kids.
This should have been called Wonder Woman 1984: The Lasso of Truth. That should have been the subtitle.
But I mean, I love the lasso, so I'm here for it.
I think one complaint that I'm hearing a lot is that there wasn't enough, like, mythos, and there wasn't about like enough about like Greek mythology, and like I get it, but like that's not really an issue for me. Like, would you guys like to see more of that, or were you guys fine?
To be honest, I've always thought that Wonder Woman can exist fine without the mythology stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if they go back to it for a third movie, am I going to be opposed to it? Absolutely not. But I also don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with what Everest just said, and also I heard this theory like way before the movie came out, like after the first trailer, I believe, and I was kind of believing it that it was a real possibility. The theory was that Maxwell Lord was actually going to turn out to be Hades, which that would have been cool, but I like what we got. Because, Hades, the devil, he can grant your wishes, but it was just a stone.
Yeah. No, that would have been cool, but again, I'm fine with what we got. I don't think Wonder Woman always needs to be tied to her Greek myth.
Yeah. I think, like,
Absolutely.
this may be a hot take, but I think gods as villains are often quite boring to me. Like, that's just me. Like, I don't always think they have tons of, like, personality. It's like, oh yeah, it's this god who can do anything, so he's just big and powerful. I don't know. I think it's always a hard bet when like franchises do that.
Yeah, I don't find most of them super interesting.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you guys want to touch on, or is that pretty much it?
I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on like Diana's speech and how they resolved the conflict of Maxwell Lord brainwashing people with the Make-A-Wish Foundation?
I mean, I thought it was silly, but I think it also kind of fit like the tone and like Wonder Woman as a character.
I just don't know, like, either, because the two things were, so one thing I'm just like confused on, did everyone have to renounce their wish, or did just Maxwell Lord
I think he had to. I think like once, and that really doesn't make much sense, but I think once he renounced it, all the other like wishes became undone.
That's just like an oversimplified solution for me that was kind of like, eh.
Yeah, because since he was the stone, he got rid of him being part of the stone. It makes, I don't know, that's weird.
No, why did they show so many other people renouncing their wish after he already renounced it?
Why,
then?
Yeah.
Why did Diana make her whole big speech to, I'm not talking to you, Max. I'm talking to everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
If we go with the everyone else had to, I'm just saying, not everyone is renouncing their wish.
Oh,
it doesn't matter how hot Gal Gadot is.
Right.
I mean, as long as they don't launch those missiles, the world will be fine. A few people will probably be dead and stuff, but there's this weird day in 1984 that I guess everyone remembers because they didn't erase like the memories aren't erased. Everyone remembers those wishes and stuff.
Yeah, this is gonna be in like the history book.
Like imagine like if there's like a parent or something with like a kid that's terminally ill or whatever, and they wish for him or her to be healthy. Like they're not taking that back. So,
right, 100%.
I just thought the resolution, whichever way you look at it, was a little problematic. But that's my biggest issue with the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I like the whole speech thing and her trying to like inspire people, but it could have been done better. Did you guys, and I'm backtracking here, and you guys probably gonna bash me for saying this, but I thought the fact that after like 75 years, and I get people cope in different ways, but the fact that she was still this heartbroken over Steve after 75 years was a little weird. Maybe that's just me. I get if it, like, this felt like a 5-year time jump, or maybe even a 10, but like 70-some years after the events of the first movie, I thought she would have maybe moved on at least a little bit.
Well, I think it was like, I don't know, like you said, everyone copes in different ways. I think she threw herself just so into saving humanity and everything. Which I think the the thing that I would say is like, you know how like in what is it, Batman v Superman or whatever, or Justice League, they explain how she's been hiding from the world for the past however. Like, well, obviously that was a lie.
True.
She's been helping like all the boys out.
Yeah. True.
I personally think like understand as a person that love literally is the most powerful thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so when like Steve was the first person that just totally changed her view on everything in the world. And so I can understand why she would still kind of moved on. There are people who just never do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're not going to move on. Obviously you're always going to have that connection. But, like, she was low-key, I feel like, depressed over the entire first act. Which is, again, it's understandable. But I think that the extent they were trying to show was just weird to me. Maybe I'm just, like, obnoxious and I don't know what true love is. But I felt like she would have at least moved on a little bit.
Yeah, 70 plus years is a long time to not move on at all.
Yeah.
No, I definitely think there is a definite basis to that claim. It just didn't bother me. Like,
that's fair.
Like, 70 years is a long time. It just didn't. When I was watching it, that part didn't bother me.
Yeah, it didn't bother me either.
But I understand what you're saying, Darren.
So, so the grading scale on the show is kind of weird. How many wishes would you give this movie?
We talking like out of 5 or out of 10?
Or just
well, let's do out of 3 since the genie grants you 3 wishes.
Out of 3, geez, I guess like a 1.5. If we're talking out of 3s.
Yeah, I'll give it a 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I agree with that. 2 out of 3.
Out of my normal like 5-star, I'd give it like a 3.5. It's like that halfway mark.
Well over half of 5, but
yeah.
Shush.
I was gonna say that doesn't add up.
It's okay, Darren. Math
don't need your math logic.
Numbers are just numbers. Are numbers even really real?
I wish Everett was
nobody
quiet.
knows. Like, why are numbers a thing? Like, let's be honest.
I have no idea. Why are they? It's all everything's just a concept.
I know, crazy. Oh God, we're getting philosophical.
Yeah.
Actually, wait. I have 2 last thoughts. Hold on.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay. So first of all, my biggest complaint. Number 1, there was no pecking of lips, which is a big issue for me. And number 2, there was no ice cream. There was not a single ice cream shot in this whole movie. So 0 out of 10.
There was ice cream in the first one, though.
I thought there was one.
Yes, but not the second one.
There wasn't ice cream at all?
I thought there would have been, especially in like that last scene or like.
Yeah,
there
wasn't
any ice cream in the mall at all?
There had to have been.
There's no way.
There had to be. Maybe. Maybe I just didn't see it.
Yeah, fact check, Darren. Come on.
Yeah,
we're a professional podcast on the radio channel.
Yeah, fair. But I mean, there was still no pecking of lips, which is still a big downfall for me.
Yeah, that is very fair.
That's pretty shocking. So that was Wonder Woman 1984. Be sure to go subscribe to these guys if you're still here. Their channel links will be down in the description below.
Are you back?
I couldn't hear you guys either. What the fuck? Oh my god. This is gonna be so fun to edit. Holy shit. I'll just put this at the end for bloopers. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, there we go.
Do you want me to try to edit it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So,